What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So tonight's episode is actually a special one because we're talking to Crypto Face, and we actually have his brother, the Flopping Groper. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Really awesome to have you guys on. Now, I've recently been seeing and hearing a lot about you lately. I have been following you, you know that. In fact, some people out there don't know, but I actually joined your group a few months back, and the reason that I did this quietly is because I wanted to actually see how you were, doing these trades and whether or not you were having results before I had you on the channel, because, I'm not a fan of actually promoting, let's say, different times to buy or sell. I like to just look at the big picture, and I encourage people to do their own research. But you have this indicator, the Market Cipher, and it's been doing really well. I've seen it with my own eyes. So I figured today we can kind of dive in, talk a little bit about that, a little bit about your background, your strategy, how you created this thing in the first place. And I guess we might as well also talk about what's going on in the markets right now. That sounds good to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about. Thank you for having me on your channel. And, you and I you've been like a friend and an ally to me for a good while, a good few months. And, we first started talking maybe 3, 4, 5 months ago. And, you've definitely done your research. Like, you've seen the ups, the downs. And, so I appreciate you having myself and my right-hand man, my brother, on the channel. And so, hopefully we can learn some new things and spread the joy where everyone can get on the merry-go-round.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yes, like you said, I did want to see with my own eyes. Because I do feel weird promoting these sort of like signal type groups, because personally I've been in a few of them, I've tested them, and I lost my ass. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah. I got a bad taste in my mouth early on, and I just, whenever anybody goes, oh, I have like a group where I give signals, like I immediately back off and say, whoa, don't do it, right? But you do have this Market Cipher whale group that you have. So let's talk about it, man. Let's dive in. Like, what's a little bit about your background? How did you get into this? What made you get into crypto? And how did we get to where we are right now with the YouTube channel and everything?
All right. Well, there's a lot to answer there, so I'll try to keep it simple. Overall, as far as crypto, as far as getting into it seriously, it's been maybe 2.5 years. I remember peaking interest when it first spiked up to like $1,200 or something. And I bought like one little Bitcoin and then kind of just forgot about it for a long time. I got a lot of heat for this last time I said this when I was on Ivan's channel. But what actually happened was I prayed one night for 2 things. And one of those was how I can spread my talents through the world and just be a good person. Long story short, literally like right after my prayer, man, I just went right to the computer, just like a zombie would. And just got serious about trading crypto and YouTube. And the rest is history. Brother, can you mute your microphone because your thing's showing up here?
Sure.
But as far as my YouTube channel, it's been around for about 1.5 years. My trade group in December is when it started, this last December. We have almost 800 members, about 750, 760 strong. It's where I just post my thoughts. Most of my trades, I have a life, and so I'm not always able to, if I'm out doing something, you can't post everything on a phone. Things happen fast. But I just post my thoughts and my trades, and people, some of my people just use me as an indicator. Others try to follow every move. The goal of my trade group isn't just for everyone to copy me, it's for everyone to get better. And so one of my main sayings is, I'll put out my entries and I'll put out exits as much as possible. But if you're in profit and you have an entry, like, exits are always your responsibility too, right? Mm-hmm. The goal is for you to be better, because you never know what could happen. I mean, I could go get hit by a bus. I could stop doing this. You never know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's been going for, I guess, about 8 months strong. We've only had to ban 8 people. So I run it really seriously. It's not a place for trolls. It's not a place. There are rules, strict rules. What happens there stays there. Be nice to each other. I've helped people flee from South Africa from oppression. I have single mothers that have foster children that have made twice their typical income. I have
dude, I've
top
seen the
10
testimonials. I mean, I'm in the group. I've seen people, what they've said about it. So, I mean, I can attest to that actually.
Thanks. And we're not just chilling here. All I'm doing is speaking the facts. I have top 10 ranked BitMEX traders to your average Joe Schmo, you name it. So that explains that. I'm actually thinking about cutting off my trade group or actually having like a questionnaire. Because when there's like drops, people start flopping and groping. Most people that trade crypto have never traded before. And so it is difficult. It can be a little stressful, but I love doing it. And overall, everybody is a better person as soon as they come in. And so, yeah, I love my trade group.
Well, I was wondering too, not to cut you off, dude, but I wanted to really get into the, if you don't mind, the whole Market Cipher thing, because that interests me personally, because I want to know specifically how the heck you're able to, call such accuracy all the time. I mean, there's so many different things you can use. You can use Bollinger Bands, RSI. Everybody's got their own. Some people just trade resistance support. Some people are full on EMA. I mean, I wanted to dive into that. I mean, can we maybe pull up a screen and kind of have a look at that while we talk? Because maybe you can show everyone what exactly it is all about. Now, just so everybody knows out there, the Market Cipher is something for sale that you do sell, but I just want to say it's not sponsored on this channel. I don't get a kickback or anything, so this is all him. We're just sitting here talking, trying to figure out, how we can make the most out of this life-changing opportunity. So,
cool.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to offer a little special on here too. We might do like 10 or 20% off, but yeah, let me go ahead and pull up my screen share here and see if take a look here. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, can you see this graph and see my screen?
Yep, perfect. Now, before we get into this, I just want to ask you a question, because right out the gate, there's going to be skepticism, right? And you got to know that there's going to be people saying, well, you started your trade group in December, and you've done really, really well. Well, I mean, any idiot could throw a dart at a dollar cost average, right, and make money from December up. But you're leveraging, you're longing and shorting, so it's not the same thing. I mean, you're talking about, you go in with a wrong leverage, you're screwed, you're liquidated. So what you do is very risky. It's not dollar cost averaging. So we need to just get that off the table first.
Yeah, leverage can be kind of like a whole different beast, especially in volatile times. I know. So first off, I have always minimum 2 trade accounts. It's something really important I got to put out there so you don't get trapped by your own greed. Oftentimes people have one BitMEX or one Bybit account. Doggy, get out of here. And they want to play the big moves, but they also flop and grope between the smaller moves as well. So first things first, before you do any indicator, before you do anything, you should have 2 Bybit accounts. Stay away from BitMEX. And yeah, I don't work for Bybit or anything, but there's no overloading. When I switched to Bybit, I doubled my profits. And so you want to have 2 accounts, one for longer term and one for shorter term. You'll see your life's going to become much easier.
I've actually never tried BitMEX, to be honest with you. I started with Bybit. That was really the first time I ever tried, and I absolutely love it. So I don't really have much of a need to even try other ones. I mean, I've just had such a good experience. So I think everyone has, actually.
They listen. No company in crypto, outside of crypto, I've ever seen listens to their community more than them. I've been using Bybit since January. I like to feel that I certainly played a huge part in bringing Bybit to the mainstream. And I'm glad I did. I like the Bybit guys. And so anyways, go Bybit, screw BitMEX. So, okay, as far as Market Cipher goes, as far as like what it is, Market Cipher isn't just one little indicator, one little line. It's actually a 3-part package of basically everything that I use, plus a couple indicators that have my partner and I have taken a lot of time, so much back testing on developing that gives us keys to the market. In my opinion, there's 2 things that the best indicator in the world you want to do. Number 1 is, does your indicator tell you if it's going to go up or is it going to go down before it happens? And number 2 would be, is it going to tell you where it's going to go? Is it going to go to 9,800? Is it going to go to 10,000, right? So Market Cipher nails the first one. it knows every single move, every single top or bottom, whether big or small, on any time frame. If it's going to go up or down. Doesn't know the exact target, but there are indications and patterns that can lead us to knowing, hey, this is probably going to be a big move, or this is probably going to be a smaller move. So there's 3 parts to Market Cipher. There is Market Cipher A, which is on your actual candle charts. Market Cipher was developed to use Heiken Ashi candles. You can use it with regular candles, but it is more accurate with Heiken Ashi. Big believer in Heiken Ashi candles. Long story short with that, regular candles were developed by the Japanese years and years ago. And then the same ancestral bloodline of Japanese developed Heiken Ashi. It's kind of like my built-in Elliott wave. It gives you a pattern. You see it's all green, then it's red, then it's green, then it's red. So it makes your life so much easier, even if you just use Heiken Ashi. The core of Market Cipher was developed actually around the 1 hour, but it works on any time frame, not just for Bitcoin. It was developed for Bitcoin, but if you can trade Bitcoin, you can trade stocks. You can trade. I had a guy in my group today just said, "Thank you, Market Cipher." Just nailed. He was trading gold, Forex.
So you recommend this on the lower time frame, like an hour, because that's pretty low. That's
all time frames.
Okay.
There is no specific time frame. So when people ask what time frame is best, that is the wrong question. It is every time frame is best. There is no such thing as I only trade off the hour.
Yeah,
I only trade off the 5 minute. You got to look at the big picture. And so you always start with the larger time frames and work your way in. When I get up in the morning, zombie, I start with the weekly, have my cup of coffee, go to the weekly, then the 5, the 3 day, the 2 day, the day, the 12 hour, go all the way down, right? So Market Cipher A has various indicators, some leading, some lagging. Leading means it tells you what's going to happen before it happens. Lagging means it tells you afterwards. Both can be useful. Market Cipher B is on the bottom, which has oscillators and waves. I can go through what each thing is, like the red and green wave. This is transactions, has nothing to do with price. Just is there movement? Is there life in Bitcoin? The blue wave is super popular because it's probably the most simplest, probably the best strategy for Market Cipher. Trading off of tops and bottoms and divergences. We can go into some examples. And then the third part of Market Cipher is Market Cipher support and resistance, which kind of gives us tops and entries and exits, VWAP signals. So the idea is you use the whole package to identify your environment, and then
I take it purple support, purple resistance, yellow support.
Correct.
Yeah, and what are all those little dots above on the top, above all those wicks on the candles? You have they're like, I can't tell if they're diamonds or what. Some of them are yellow and red, and what does all that indicate?
Yeah, and so these yellow diamonds indicate bullish movement. The red diamonds indicate bearish movement, right? And so if you're kind of just looking at a chart, you're getting a picture or things. So like right now, this picture, it's mixed. There's like turbulence, right? So it's not completely smooth, but we see more kind of bullish clusters here, right, than red. So my guess is overall, we're going to probably continue to go up, right? Plus our money flow right down here is green, grass on the field, play ball. So when this wave is green, when there's a bunch of transactions, there are more people. Naturally, Bitcoin's price is going to grow. So I'm probably looking to long the bottoms. If it is red, then less people are using Bitcoin. There is probably less volume. So most likely we're probably looking to short the tops, right? This yellow X right here is the most detailed indication in all of Market Cipher. It is the whale manipulation signal, and everyone says this doesn't exist. This yellow X depicts an irregularity in the market. Typically means that there is a trap. Normally it means that there's going to be a dump. You see a yellow X, that means it's probably going to dump. Oftentimes you'll see it pump up a little bit, and it's a trap. It's a bull trap. Boom, it dumps right here. So when I see a yellow X, right, if I'm new to crypto and I go, oh, I want to long this, be careful. This yellow X most likely means it's going to dump, right? we can go through what each thing means. I mean, I can talk about.
And now, for example, that yellow X, like how much time would a trader have to act upon that? You know, like, because some of these indicators, man, they happen so unbelievably at the moment that, I mean, unless you're literally staring at a screen, you have no chance of, you know, actually utilizing them.
Well, it depends on the time frame. That's a very good question, right? So here we're on the 5 minutes. So this yellow X comes up. You know, here you had 5, 10, 15, 20, technically 25, 30, you know, a half hour. That completely depends. It depends on the indication, depends on the time frame. The most popular, what's really getting everyone to change their lives, and I know it sounds corny, I hate to use kind of the lingo, but it's true, is using the momentum blue wave strategy here, plus all the other indications to set longs and to set shorts. Do you want me to go into an example of how we use that?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's the whole point. We're trying to figure out how to use this thing to increase our earnings.
It's a deep indicator. So in my Discord, it's public to everyone. There is a section that says Market Cipher videos. Let me just pull that up real quick.
Sure.
So everyone can see. There's intro to Cipher videos, right? So if you're brand new to Market Cipher, brand new to the channel, you can go in here, look at introducing the Market Cipher. That's me with the cowboy hat and the orange glasses, winning every trade with the blue wave divergences.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on my screen right now. I'm still seeing your chart.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe the I'll forget about it. I think the share screen thing has like a specific chart thing. So don't worry about it. Go to my Discord, look for intro to Cipher videos. Mm-hmm. Okay. So with the blue wave, here's how it works. We have a zero line right here, which is the white line, white dotted line. If the blue waves are on the bottom, obviously we're talking about finding a long, right? So what we are looking for is a big blue wave, which is what we call our anchor, and then a smaller blue wave after that, which is called our trigger wave, okay? In this instance here, we are on the 1 hour. We have a big blue wave plus a green dot diamond. This is a indication that this is a bottom, not the bottom forever. I want to make that clear. It's an indication of a bottom. So this is a nice anchor. Now we have the white part of the blue wave and then the dark part. When the white part cuts in to, let me make this a little bigger. When the white part cuts into the blue, that is a sign of the trend reversing, okay? When we have a smaller wave after a bigger wave, most likely the price is going to, in this case, go up. So what we would do is we would long right here when the white cuts into the blue and maybe wait for it to confirm because the white could actually keep continuing. So let's say we wait for this to confirm. We move our mouse up on this candle. Let me change this. And I need to move this so I can see the price. Okay, so if we see our bottom chart right here, we know that this should be a long. Move our cursor up. We had 1 hour to get in anywhere from 9,330 to 9,534. And what happened? Well, the price went up all the way up to 9,979. So worst case scenario, you got in at 95.30 and you're able to exit at, you know, that's a $400 move, right?
Yeah, even worst case scenario, if you're still holding, you're up. So
yeah. And so if we just go ahead and measure, let's say,
or if you still have the contract open, sorry, I gotta change the lingo a bit. So
what did you say? I'm sorry.
No, I said if you're still holding. You don't trade altcoins or anything like that, huh? You're just strict. Are you a Bitcoin maximalist or how is that? I mean,
I do trade shitcoin sometimes, but I have my specialty is Bitcoin. I guess I am a Bitcoin maximalist. I think the shitcoin apocalypse, I don't think people are going to pump. The only hope for shitcoins is if China decides to pump all the shitcoins. That's it. Everyone got burnt from the last shitcoin run with Digibyte and all these shit tokens. And I don't think people want to go through that again. it's Bitcoin that people are talking about ETFs and backed and it's Bitcoin is where it's at.
I agree, man. There's a reason the dominance is basically almost at 70% at this point. You know, I mean, we were down at 33 during parts of 2017, 2018. So, or 2018, I think is when we dropped the lowest. So
yeah. So I do have my like shitcoin, which is Zcash. I like it because it is a huge miner coin. There's a couple other reasons too, but like I have my one special shitcoin. I even sold those. I basically just hold Bitcoin.
So I was going to ask you, do you ever like what? Because you know, some people are like, I trade. It's a tough road, right? Because some people trade Bitcoin to get more dollars, which I think in a way we can't not look at it in dollars. That's what we're trained to know how to do. But then the other thing also is like, do you ever cash out? Do you hold stable coins, or do you just stay in Bitcoin and just long short, and just keep accumulating? What is your strategy?
I was never one for stable coins. I never really use platforms that go off like USDT or anything. I pay myself. I mean, right, the world revolves around the US dollar right now. And so I certainly cash out Bitcoin. I hold some Bitcoin. It all depends. It depends. With Bybit, there's Bitcoin, ETH, EOS, and Cardano. XRP. Thank you. You know, here's the thing is shitcoins are way more volatile. They are more dangerous to trade. Some would say they can be more profitable. They certainly can be. And so I'll put out shitcoin signals sometimes, but Bitcoin's what I've always had my thumb on. Bitcoin is what I've been best at. But dude, I tell you what, the truth is if we trade stocks with leverage with Market Cipher, it is so... I don't want to get in trouble by saying the word easy, but man, it's way easier than crypto. If you can trade Bitcoin, all these noobs that come into crypto, if you're getting wrecked, if you go to stocks, you'll wreck your buddies at Charles Schwab and Goldman Sachs a lot of times. So yeah, I'll trade shitcoins, but no, Bitcoin. We're saying that now, but things could, if there is a shitcoin pump, then everyone could be shitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna go with the flow. Let's be real. If you're seeing, and you could tell when it comes. It's very obvious when the season is starting. You know what I mean? Bitcoin dominance pulls back. You start seeing them pop off left and right. I mean, if you were in 2017, you know what it looks like. 2017, 2018. But you know, like I said, I have a personal opinion, and it's kind of saying what you said before, that all these guys, they're not looking at, you know, shitcoin number 476 on this page. No, when you're, like you said, you're talking about ETFs, you're talking about custodial solutions, you're talking about Backed, Fidelity, Ledger X. They're talking about Bitcoin. They're looking at Bitcoin. Today, you know, at the hearing, what are we talking about? We're talking about Libra versus Bitcoin, not Libra, you know, versus, I don't even want to offend somebody with a token, but I understand what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, but I will say when shitcoins were pumping, I was still a Bitcoin guy. I mean, I traded, you know, I was doing like bot trading and stuff. So I did trade shitcoins, but I wasn't like holding on to shitcoins hoping. I think the whole buying a bunch of shitcoins hoping something pumps up, like I wasn't really into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And sometimes you just hold them to oblivion. And you know, I tell people, you know, I used to hold a lot of altcoins. Now I think I'm up to 85% Bitcoin. Some of it intentional, some of it because it just happened, because Bitcoin just outperformed everything. So yeah, I was wondering about that though. That was kind of interesting.
So let me give you an example here of actually using stocks. Okay. Right? So this is Lyft. I love using Lyft as an example, because it is a new, it's new to the market, right? And so here we're on the daily. We have an anchor blue wave right here. And then we have a smaller blue wave right here. And so I draw my little line, boop, the white met the blue. And so I'd be looking to long right here, go up from 60.58. I had a full day to get between $62 and $60. Boop, it goes up to $65, right? Might not seem like a lot to the untrained eye, but in stocks, a 5% swing is big over a couple days, right? Plus, you start having leverage. If you're 10x leverage, that's 50-something%, right? On lower time frames, I mean, you can use on, like I said, anything. Cattle futures. Hell, one of my best trades I ever made was on cattle, right? And so,
hey, super quick, when we're using this Heiken candles, do we have to change that manually, or does that do it itself?
Yeah. And so you'll go to candles here.
And there you go.
Boom. You click it. Here's your standard candles.
Gotcha.
Standard candles are so confusing to standard people. Like what the hell is all this? Come on. You know, people are trying to do all of these retail traders are trying to trade off of candles and patterns. And it's not that that's a bad thing. That stuff does matter, but there is so much information out there that's included in, you know, Market Cipher and other indicators out there that just make things so much easier. You're supposed to combine it. And so instead of guessing and gambling, this isn't supposed to be gambling. You don't need to gamble anymore. It's completely different. I got to mention this thing too. When there's a red X and a red diamond fulfilled, super bearish. We're on Zcash right now on the hike and a sheet candle. Boom, major dump. Look at these yellow X's. These, bam, it's dumping, it's dumping. I mean, so you use everything. You use all time frames. Start with the larger time frames. You work your way in. When there's news, Market Cipher will ruin your thought that news affects the market, because somehow it tells you before it happens. Specifically, I wanted to give an example.
So you don't ever have any like black swan events that just totally throw you off? I mean, there's no perfect indicator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
like if Donald Trump came out and banned Bitcoin today, there's no way this chart could have predicted that. You know?
Well, you're right about that. But let me kind of let me explain this point here. So there was on June 11th, there was just like a random Zcash pump from $80 to like 110, 120. And it was like the only coin that pumped up 20%. And the reason was there was supposed to be some news, some upgrade that Zcash did, right? Well, if we go to Market Cipher, you see that you had an anchor wave right here, right? Plus your green dot. Boom. There was a long entry you could have had right here, and then a long entry right here. Literally the candle before it happened. You had 12 hours. So it's like, you know, how it knew the right entry. It's amazing. It's truly.
You know what's something too I noticed, not to cut you off, but when it comes to like you were talking about the difference between like traditional trading, how it's old school, it's done by guys from such a long time ago with these old patterns that everybody's looking at, you know, the flagpole, we're going to go this high, we're going to put in this. And I'll be honest with you, you know, as a person that does look at charts, not as intensely as you, I use some of these old school techniques. And you notice with Bitcoin tends to like sort of obey it, but then it just goes wild. Like even with these like triangles, you know, it usually breaks out 65% to 75%, never gets to the end. You know, how many times have you had bearish divergence on the RSI and it didn't even do anything, didn't even matter? Man, you know what I mean?
It's crypto is actually more centralized. It's like the most centralized market because it's the smallest. What I mean by that is there are less big players that control everything, and so that certainly is definitely a reason why like things can go weird. Also, it's majority owned by China. I'm a firm believer that Eastern and Western minds are completely different in how they do things. There are some standard TA that absolutely relates to crypto, no doubt about it. But there are special things in Bitcoin and crypto specifically that other markets don't do. One is how Bitcoin repeats its own patterns. So rather than focusing on, oh, this is a flag and it's supposed to go up, rather than that, in my opinion, you're better off finding the 3 or 4 patterns that Bitcoin keeps repeating over the past month or so and just sticking with those. There was a time, I don't know exactly when it was, but there was, you know, continuation flags that kept going off, and it would go the other way, go the other way, go the other way. And it happened like 5-6 times in a row on the 4-hour chart, and everyone's getting wrecked. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if you just paid attention, if you knew that it kept repeating the same patterns, you would have been okay. One pattern specifically right now that's going through, I mentioned on a different stream, on Ivan's stream, is what I've now named the Swedish Shuffle. It starts in a little channel, breaks out, comes right back down into the channel, right? And then goes around sideways, comes back up. And you can search it on, there's so many different time frames. So we're just on the 12-hour, and we can find that same pattern if we just scan around kind of randomly all over the place. Like right here. Well, that one actually dumped a little bit. I'm kind of going off a whim here, but it just picks patterns and runs with them. And so, and in that sense, it's like easier for your new person to do.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we're used to the Bart Simpson, so now we got the Swedish Shuffle, so we can add that to the list of crazy patterns. Some
all kinds.
I mean, now do you
Russian
consider
spritzers and
these
Chinese hooks. Whatever helps you like remember, draw it. Like just draw. Whenever there's a big move, like imprint it, save it to your computer, or draw it and just remember it for next time. Chances are you'll be okay.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah, I mean, we've been going for a little bit. What else can we talk about? What else can we get into over here? I mean, I've noticed, like you did talk about those little blue things at the bottom with the curve. I've noticed that. I watched that on your channel a lot. You have had a lot of success with that. And that is a really easy indicator for most people, like even myself, to pick up. You can just see the color moving over it, so that's really easy for the average person. And you've had a lot of good luck with it. So, I mean, obviously, if anybody wants to get this, if you're using TradingView, you have to have TradingView first of all.
Free account. You can have a free account too. You don't need a pro account. There is like a lot. You can just go to my channel. Like I said, go into the Discord. You'll see these videos there. Watch my live streams. I mean, I trade live all the time. And so, yeah, all I can say is it is a terrific thing. It's what I use that works for me. And I'm not going to say 100% of people get it. There are people that will get it and struggle. No one's perfect. But overall, like if some of the stories I have and some of the people that have used it, from beginning traders to veterans, it changes everything for them. And it's like cheating. It's not fair. And instead of your confidence goes way up. As far as other things to talk about, I mean, I just use Bybit, Market Cipher kicks ass, and there's a
lot of people on the channel already probably have a Bybit account because they know that we use it as well. Obviously, if you guys want, we do have referral links below. Like I said, nothing in this video is paid for, so obviously, CryptoFace will be very cool if you want to use my link clearly, and then go to his channel. He'll be obviously cool about that. He's not as cool with some other people, but I do support this, and I'm actually, to be honest with you, I want to start using this on the channel because I really haven't brought it out yet. I've used it in the background to look at it, but I've never actually put it in front of everyone, and I want to try it and I want to test it. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start putting in I'm going to open up like another account, and I think we're going to start with a small amount, something that I don't care if I lose. You know what I mean? And I think every day we're going to just do a little bit of just like a challenge, a test, right? And we're going to see.
Dude, that's what Keith Waring did. So Keith Waring is another friend of mine, another YouTuber. Right?
I know Keith, yeah.
Dude, he did a 30-day challenge joining my trade group and using Market Cipher. And he started with 0.2 Bitcoin. His goal, his most aggressive goal was to make 5 Bitcoin, right? In literally 15 days, and he said 3 weeks to make it sound more like believable, he 25x'd. He turned 0.2 Bitcoin into 5 Bitcoin and then said, I'm done. I'm paying myself. That's another thing too. What I do is when I trade and make money, I don't just keep increasing my positions. I'll start off my trade accounts with 1 or 2 Bitcoin. When it gets to 5 or 6, I withdraw 2 or 3 Bitcoin, start over from 1 to 2. And that's kind of like what I'm happy and what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah,
right?
You have to pay yourself, definitely. Some people get greedy, and they'll just they want more, they want more, they want more, and that's not smart, Even if these indicators are great and they work 99% of the time, you still, what do I say on the channel? You have wealth generation, but then you have wealth preservation as well. You got to be smart about it,
Yep. Look right here. So right now we're on the 30 minutes. So here we can have kind of a test, okay? Right now we have a divergence. On the opposite side, we have a big wave right here and then a smaller wave right here. And this is on the 30-minute. So my guess would be, I'll short, what's the exact price? $9,748. And so we'll see. It could go down a little. It could go down a lot. I'm looking at money flow here. It's still in the red, but it's kind of coming up to the green. So that's kind of an indication. It might not be a big drop, but if I go to a larger time frame, we're still deep in the red. Right? And so always trade within your time frames. If your smaller scalps are easier to do. Trading the big moves is harder to do. And so if you're a new trader, recognize your environment, but take your profit, man. Instead of waiting, my mentor, my partner that helped me with Market Cipher, he doesn't play the big moves. When he goes in profit after $100 or $200 move, he takes his money and it adds up fast. You will most likely make more money playing the scalps, taking your money, taking your gains. Who cares if you don't hit the exact top or bottom if you miss it by under 200?
You remind me of my dad. He has this saying. He always says a fast nickel is better than a slow dime. You know what I mean? If you could just if you're guaranteed to get those fast nickels, add them up. You know, obviously not nickels, but what I'm trying to say is, what is it? Bears make money, bulls make money, pigs get slaughtered. You know, and that applies to anything in life, actually. So
yeah, don't be greedy. Use 2 accounts. Always start out with lower leverage if you're going to use leverage.
What do you recommend for beginners?
3x, no more than 5x. And I'm not giving any advice or anything. Brethren, you have a great explanation on starting with trades and how to like add to them. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, dude, totally. I mean, there's like some first principles of trading that like translate over to Market Cipher that make it easier. For instance, like if you're in like a downtrend, the wind is down, so the winning strategy would be to look for short indications at the highest points possible. You know, like you could long scalp, and Cypher B does catch those like when the night is darkest, that's when you're getting those Cypher B green dots. So like you can do long scalps, but ideally when you see like a bullish divergence in a downtrend, that's actually a signal to sell your short and then wait for a re-shorting opportunity. I don't know if that makes sense.
So what he's saying, so for example, we're on the 2-hour chart. So we're in a downtrend, right? So that technically you want to short top. So let's say if you shorted this right here or you shorted this right here, right? If you shorted this right here, you see this blue wave come down, boom, this is where you probably want to exit, right? If you shorted right up here at 10,742, that's your trigger wave. Well, guess what? Boom. This is probably the bottom right here. So you just made a big gain. What I wanted to ask you, brethren, is how what I wanted you to talk about is how your strategy on when you enter a trade with lower leverage and then like build it up from there.
Oh yeah, like it's like starting a fire, dude. Yeah, I mean, because when you're starting a fire, it's like you have your flint, you have your tinder. The conditions have to be right. It has to be dry. You know, you're like a baseball player coming up to bat. You don't come up to bat unless the field is set. But yeah, so you get like a low leverage position, and then once your position's in the green a little bit, that's when you can start increasing your risk. You know, maybe adding more contracts or upping the leverage. And at that point, since you're in the green, you can have a stop loss at a reasonable point, and the chances of it getting stopped out aren't as high, because what you did is you started with this low risk, low leverage entry, and the entry is what matters. You know, if you can get a good entry, then you just come up a little bit, and then you can increase your, maybe up your leverage. That way, less of your money's on the table. Add a stop loss, hopefully in the green, or at least at the point where your fees are break even. And I mean, that's how I do it. But
can you talk about your fishing analogy of how you increase your trade position if you're going to do so with the fishing analogy?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's say you're entering, let's say we have like a reversal and we kind of know this is going macro long. Like let's say we bottomed out or whatever. You know, you get your good long entry with low leverage. And you want to you're kind of like catching a marlin, you know, you have to, it's not like you just reel it in and it's on the boat. You have to like give him some slack. You know, he's running away from you. You're trying to tire him out, you know, and then once he's finally tired, that's when you reel him in and go for the kill. But I mean, that's the metaphor.
So when the candles are going up is when like you're letting the fish, you know, you're letting the fish take control. When it tires out and comes back down, that's when you'd want to sprinkle a little more.
Yeah, you're buying dips in that uptrend, you know? So it's not about just like FOMO sprinkling, whatever. I mean, you're looking for dips in an uptrend. You're looking for peaks in a downtrend. And in sideways, you can actually kind of do both. Like we were sideways bouncing between 13K and 10K for a few weeks or whatever. So, I mean, in that environment, you actually would have found more success. You would have found more success like longing the oversold readings and then shorting the overbought readings. It would have been pretty 50-50. But I mean, we've been in this downtrend for the last few days, so shorting peaks would have clearly gotten you more success.
So like,
and then on the way up, you know, buying dips on that way up was the way to go. So like that, and that's not even like a Market Cipher rule. That's just like a trading rule that we have to kind of drill into a lot of our newer members. Basically, like what is the trend doing first, and then you apply the cipher to that trend. But there is those three instances. There's the uptrend strategy, there's the sideways strategy, and then there's the downtrend strategy.
Yep. So like right now, we're probably most likely still in this downtrend. I'm looking at the 30-minute right now. We have a little divergence right here. We have an anchor wave, a smaller wave. We have an anchor wave up here. This wave's bigger than this wave, right? And even on the hourly, right, we have our anchor wave up here, big wave, smaller wave right here. And so, more than likely, the better move is probably to short here. And so, hopefully that kind of gives everyone a good intro overall sense.
How often do you short? I feel dirty when I short, man. I don't know why. I feel like I'm disrespecting Bitcoin or something like that. I usually just wait for a good long entry.
So it depends. Like obviously in the bear market, we were shorting. Like when our trade group first started, we were just nailing shorts because we were in a downtrend. For me, I actually don't put out as many short signals to my personal trade group because it's harder for everyone to do, especially the new people. Just like people that bet sports, right? When it's the Super Bowl, everyone loves betting the over because they're like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of points. They want to see scores. But on the Super Bowl, people don't realize that they are getting extra tough. You want to bet the unders on the Super Bowl, but it's harder for your average person to do. Mm-hmm. So shorting is harder for your average person to do. Think about the stock market. When Granny May and Fred have their 401ks and everything, they're long in the market. They are not shorting the market. It's the Wall Street guys. It's the institutions that short the market. Your average person longs. And so it depends. It depends. Shorting is harder for the average person, and shorts happen faster and quicker than longs do. And so that can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on what your strengths and weaknesses are. Can you pull the trigger and take the profit, or are you going to sit there and hold and wish and hope that it keeps going down? So shorting is harder for your average person. With my trade group, it's unless it's like a super confident thing, I might do it, but I won't tell them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little weird about it too. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, dude. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the channel. For everyone out there, definitely have a look at this. If you don't have a TradingView account, it is free. You could just go to TradingView. You don't even have to use an affiliate link. Just get an account, use it. Definitely download a Bybit account because that's what we're using this on. We are trading on leverage. I do have a referral link below, guys. It does help out the channel. You don't have to use it, but I do appreciate it. And definitely then go check out CryptoFace. And if you are using this, download the Market Cipher. We're going to be using it on the channel. I'm going to be seeing if this works. I'll be doing it live. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start. Probably maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. And we're going to just do it for like a month. We're going to
tell you what, dude, I'll do 20% off. It's normally 0.1 Bitcoin. We'll do 0.08 for 48 hours from when this video airs. Just say like the zombie special. The instructions is to email. I don't know. Maybe we can should we put the instructions in your thing? Just go to my channel to any YouTube video, and the instructions will be there of how you get it. Zombie, man, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Awesome show, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I actually like today because not only did we go over just the technicals, but we actually had a little conversation as well, which I think is cool because, it's nice to get to know you, man.
Your channel's awesome. It's funny, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass, but I'm gonna kiss your butt a little bit because it's
that
it's
Willy
fun.
Wonka intro.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Like your little happy videos in the beginning. You're a big channel. You're a trustworthy guy.
Good guy.
You actually care about your community. I speak with a lot of YouTubers behind the scenes, and so do you. And I tell you what, some of these people's favorite YouTubers, they don't really care about their community. They just care about getting paid because they're not making money anywhere else.
Oh,
right? And
yeah. So I mean, listen, dude, I'll be honest. I do the sponsored video from occasion to occasion. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a full-time trader like you, although I have pulled back on it lately because I realize it's really not the greatest content. But I mean, dude, if I tell you the amount of things I turned down because I just, and I'll tell you what, the guys that have the projects that pay the most are the ones you don't want to talk about on your channel. So trust me, man. I mean, you got to make a living, you got to get by, but I definitely, you're right, dude. I do care about the community, and that's why I was watching you for so long. It's why it took me months to get you on the channel because I got burned so bad with so many groups. I didn't trust these guys, bro. And I wanted to make sure that this was legit,
Are terrible. I'm sorry to interrupt you. These little scam trade groups, those are the scams. Those are this BitSilk BS. All these little trade groups that claim they're using everyone's different signals. and if they are, you're getting lagging signals. Like, don't sign up with those little BS trade groups. There's a couple I know of that are legit, but yeah, man, I feel you. But dude, you're the man, Zombie. You're a real good guy, and I'm glad that I can call you a friend in this space, man.
Appreciate it, bro. They're hard to find for sure. So once again, thank you so much for everybody that came out. Definitely check CryptoFace out. Go subscribe to his channel. Show him some love. He does live streams. And I'll tell you what, man, talk about putting your money where your mouth is. I mean, you trade live, man. I mean, it's not like some behind-the-scenes stuff. You're like, I'm putting it along right now, and I got how many people watching me? You know, so you got to respect that. So thank you so much, Flopping Groper. It was also nice to have you on the channel as well. Man, everybody out there, once again, do realize that obviously trading on leverage is very risky. Be careful. Keep your leverage low, no higher than 3 if you're a beginner. And if you're looking to try this out, you guys know what to do. Check out the Bybit link below. If you have TradingView, it's free. Add this. If not, he does live streams every single day, and we're going to be doing it on the channel as well. So once again, CryptoFace, Floppy Groper, thank you so much for coming to the channel.
Anytime, bro. Thank you.
All right, guys, so you know the drill. If you like this video, definitely show it some love. Get subscribed if you haven't. My name is KW.